Well, hello everyone. My name is Joy Lucky, and welcome to a video I've wanted to do for a while now, and I've been meaning to do for a while now, and that is the Maze Escape tier list. So, for those of you that don't know, I've done a couple of tier lists on the video. It's a video I enjoy doing, and I feel like it gives everyone a great idea of how the game works. And basically I've done two. So one of them is that I ranked all of the ultimate abilities post creator pack, so it did not include the chapter 4 characters. And then I did another tier list ranking the monsters in the Maze Escape mode, which was again pre chapter 4. That was post Silent Hill. So welcome to the third tier list, and this one is going to be this one's going to be a biggie. With the dedicated servers introductions and the great rebalancing of the game, a lot of characters have changed, some for the better, some for the worst, and some have just stayed exactly the way they are before, which is fine. But, of course, I am Joy Lucky, your M&M veteran and statistical analyzer, who likes to go in-depth about this game, top to bottom. And I am here to do the Maze Escape, the beginning of 2022 Monsters and Mortals character Maze Escape tier list. We will just be focusing on Maze Escape today. I know I've mainly been focusing on Maze Escape. At some point I am planning to do a Shard Mayhem tier list for the monsters, and a Soul Collection tier list for the mortals. But for today we're going to do Maze Escape. However, most of these rankings will correlate to Shard Mayhem as well. Usually if a monster is good in Maze Escape, they're going to be good in Shard Mayhem. Vice versa. Same for the mortals as well. If a mortal's good in Maze Escape, they'll probably be pretty good in Soul Collection as well. Well, there are a few exceptions obviously, but yeah. Obviously I'm not going to spend too long on it. When I ranked the ultimate abilities, that took over an hour to do. I really don't want this taking an hour. So I am going to be a little bit fast with this tier list, and I'm actually going to be I might do several characters at once. For some examples which we're about to get into, I might put an entire class in their way and just talk about the class in general and quickly go over the specific character. Because for the character, the only thing to measure are their hitboxes, and their ultimate ability. Aside from that, they are a part of a class which is the same. Anyway, so we are going to start with mortals, and obviously this is mortals in Maze Escape. Now, I'm going to immediately start off with the power mortals, 8-Bit Ryan, Borisov, and Glowstick Vince. This might be pretty controversial, but I am actually going to put all of the power mortals in S tier. Yes, even Vince. I'm immediately going to start off by putting all 3 of the power mortals in the S tier. Oh yeah, by the way, this tier list was made by Ketchup. Go follow him on Twitter, guys. Oops, that was a bad idea, wasn't it? Oh god. Yes, well done, Joy. Well done, Joy. You absolute legend, you. Joy, you're amazing. You actually are depressing. You're so freaking depressing. What a great way to start this off, huh? I didn't even spell deception right. Jesus Christ. Holy crap, dude. Why do we have to do this right now? Monsters and Mortas. Yes, there we go. Boom. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. It saved it. Cool. I am so sorry. Sorry about that, guys. I'm an idiot. Anyway, we're back. So, yeah, I'm immediately going to start off with something which is probably quite debatable, and a lot of people might actually be quite, might actually have very different opinions on. I'm going to put all 3 power mortals in S tier. Yeah, I'm actually doing it. So, it's no surprise that Prisoner Borisov and 8-Bit Ryan are busted. They're power mortals, meaning they have 240 HP, 25 damage light, and 50 damage heavy, the only downside being that they are the slowest character in the game. The thing is, however, is that they are monsters. They are monsters morphed into mortals with a very low shard loss, meaning there is no reason in even going after them in the first place. I have been begging Vince for a power mortal nerf for ages. I honestly think at this point, originally it was just Ryan I wanted nerfed. I do definitely want Borisov to be addressed as well. He is also very, very annoying. Vince is fine, But overall, at this point, I feel like the Power Mortals just need a complete class rework, kind of like how Sybil introduced the new range. Technically, you could say Sybil got a class rework into the range class. I would really like that for the Power Mortals, personally. The monsters can stay the same. I think the Power Monsters are fine as they are, but the Power Mortals are just way too unhealthy. They're honestly just very unhealthy for the game, which isn't good. That's not a good thing. So why are all of the Power Mortals in S tier? Well, basically they're all hosting now. With dedicated servers, Vince is now hosting Vince, which means that he snipes you across the map. His ultimate ability is amazing, very underrated, one of the most underrated ults in the game, which basically grants him 15 seconds of invincibility against bosses and traps, and grants him a 50% damage reduction to enemy attacks, by repelling 150% of the damage taken back to its attacker. Vince is all around a great mortal, and he can be used very, very offensively in the hands of a right player like myself. I can delete entire lobbies with this guy if I play my cards right. Do not underestimate a Vince player. Everyone says Vince is defensive, which he is, but trust me, Vince can be an absolute monster on offense when used correctly. The only thing keeping him back is that obviously he is the slowest character in the game, along with Borisov and Ryan. Ryan, I don't even think I need to explain why he's at the very top of S tier. Ryan is by far the best mortal in the game, hands down. He's absolutely busted. He's literally a better fighter than half the monster roster. His ultimate ability deals 50% HP damage and grants him a free heavy attack, which is 50 damage. And he's also just got insanely long hitboxes. He's very hard to hit. And yeah, he's just not healthy at all for this game. Ryan, by far, the best mortal in the game as of now. Prisoner Borisov, kind of the same as Ryan. I have actually tested, and Prisoner Borisov has the worst hitbox of the three powers. His hitbox is actually, I'd consider average, an average hitbox. But he is still busted due to his ultimate ability cooldown. When you use his ultimate ability, he freezes the enemy for like 9 or 10 seconds and slows them to a crawl, basically making them completely defenseless. The only defense they have being items that they may be holding, or obviously their own physical attacks or ultimate. But if they don't have any of those, Prisoner Borisov can just absolutely wipe the floor. This gives 10 seconds of a power mortal basically having exact free reign over what to do. Prisoner Borisov players will use this ult offensively, and you will die 90% of the times, no matter how great of a monster player you are. Prisoner Borisov is incredibly offensive and definitely needs... He himself doesn't really need the nerf, it's actually his ultimate which is the problem, not him himself. The only problem he has is obviously being a power mortal, meaning he's just busted. At base, he's just busted, even without his ultimate. Prisoner Borisov cooldown definitely needs a rework. It's insanely powerful on Maze Escape. It's basically a free kill most of the time. In Soul Collection, he's also very powerful. Obviously, it's not as bad as in Soul Collection, because if you die in Soul Collection, unless you're playing like Pen or something, it's not going to do anything. But yeah, Borisov in Soul Collection, a lot of people go Borisov on kill streaks, like myself. I use Borisov to go on kill streaks, since Sybil is no more. Ryan is obviously a monster as well. He's a monster in both modes. But yeah, Prisoner Borisov, very broken. His ultimate needs a nerf. Why is Vince in S tier? Simple, he's a power mortal. I'm sorry, that's literally it. Power mortals are the best class. Power mortal is the best class in the game. I would say, yeah. Like, power mortals are extremely strong. In Maze Escape, they are basically unkillable in the hands of some players without a secondary ultimate usage or item, like Primal Fear, or slowness. And they themselves are just not worth it. Even if the monster goes out of their way to 1v1 a power mortal, which is super difficult by the way, after they're killed, they lose 15 shards, which in the new Maze Escape, being 2v4, 4 mortals against 2 monsters, is nothing. Absolutely nothing. If you kill a power mortal in the new Maze Escape, it does absolutely nothing. In the old Maze Escape it still did nothing, but at least it put a bit of a dent in the mortal team for about 5 or 10 seconds. Now it does absolutely squat. The only good side to Power Mortals is that if the portal is open, you can actually target Power Mortals, as they find it harder to make it to the portal due to obviously being slow and clunky and having quite low agility. So you can smart monsters like myself will actually target the Power Mortal when the portals are open. I always go for the power, if there is one. If not, then I'll go for the next weakest, which will probably be a Nixon or Super Horrible. They'll be like the next week ones, Doug, etc., etc. That's all I'm gonna say. I've already explained Vince and why he's in here as well. But yeah, it's sad to say, but yeah, why is that opening? But yeah, I'm putting the Power Mortals in S tier. I'm sorry, guys. Alright, so do we have any other S tier mortals? Actually, yes, we have one more. Bierce. Why is Bierce an S tier? Simple. She is broken. With the dedicated servers, Bierce has become an absolute monster. Here's the thing with Bierce. On a supportive role, Bierce is the worst of the free supports, Doko and Heather doing much more for the team beneficially. But when Bierce is used in a survival, sustain, or offensive way, Bierce is arguably one of the worst mortals. Bierce is basically the best mortal fighter who is a non-power. The powers are better fighters than her, but Bierce is actually the best non-power fighter. Plus being a support, meaning she's very fast, she's faster than balanced monsters, and that she only loses 35 shards, which I personally think isn't enough for support mortals. Support mortals I think should lose 42 shards, and I think they should switch that with Pen. So I think speed mortals should lose 35 and support should lose 42. And by the way, I also think balance power mortals should lose about 30. I think they should lose about 30 shards. 30, 35, maybe even 40, I don't know. But yeah, 30 would be nice for power mortals. Even if it was just 25, I'd be fine with that. But yeah. Bierce is absolutely cracked. Her ultimate ability not very helpful to the team, but very helpful to herself. Basically giving her 400 HP, which is insane for a mortal to have. Bierce having one of the hardest being one of the hardest characters in the game to hit. No, I'm not joking. Being able to 1v1 most of the monster roster. She can struggle against powers, but that's kind of it. Bierce is just an absolute monster on offense. But supportive wise, she is the worst. But I am putting her at the very bottom of S tier. Of the S tier mortals, she is the bottom just for that reason, being not a great support. But she can still be a great support. 25% of their health is nice, and if you're heal slapping people while stacking it with the ult, which I do, you can heal someone up very fast. Of the healers, she's the best, obviously. Okay, so the A tier mortals. Moving on to A tier. These are the mortals which are just good. These three I would say are broken. S tier mortals and monsters are usually the broken characters. So A tier is the strong characters that aren't, well, broken per se. And I am going to start off with Heather Mason. Heather Mason is a great character. She did get nerfed, but I personally think it didn't really, the nerf was completely fine. Basically, instead of an 80% defense boost for 10 seconds, she now grants a 50% defense boost, which can still be helpful, but also allows the monster to still possibly get a kill. Originally, if you stun lasered Heather, it wouldn't do anything unless she was super low health. Now, Mallet could still have a chance, per se. So the ultimate grants a great defensive boost to the team, also with an additional 15% speed boost, which is nice, which also makes power mortals faster than balanced monsters, which is insane. And makes support mortals as fast as speed monsters, which again is absolutely insane. Heather is still great. She's not S tier, she used to be S tier. I don't think she's S tier anymore. I think she's now A tier. I am putting her at the top of A tier, but I'm not going to put her in S. Because I personally don't think Heather's S tier, in my opinion. But yeah, she's still great. She is a support mortal, so she at base is very cracked. 200 HP, very fast, very hard to hit. All the support mortals are very hard to hit. They have very small collision boxes, and she has pretty good hitbox as well. Her heavy's pretty bad, but her light attack is very, very good. So she can be used very well offensively. But yeah, she's still great. Heather's still great. I'd still say she's the best support in the game. My personal opinion, she is still the best support mortal. But yeah, I'm going to put her in A tier. She went down a little bit. If she was still the same she was, then she would be like here. If this was pre-nerf Heather, she'd be up here, but no, we're going to put her in A tier. And next up, another probably quite controversial thing. I'm putting Dawko immediately after. Yeah, Dawko in A tier. Holy crap! What just happened? What happened there? Yeah, I'm putting Dawko in A tier. Why? 1, he's a support mortal, and 2, his ultimate is actually much better now. The thing with Dawko's ultimate is that it was always pretty good, Darkest Desire. 15 seconds, and all players cannot be harmed by light or heavy attacks. Ultimates, bosses, and traps still affect them. Dawko, now with dedicated servers, become a much stronger character. He was always the weakest of the supports, but now I'd actually say he's probably still the weakest support, but he's still great. He's better at Beerce than being supportive. Beerce would be number 3, Dawko number 2, and Heather number 1, supportively. But Dawko is also very good offensively. He has a very cracked heavy attack. Even his light attack is pretty nice. Darkest Desire is also just a huge time waster. In the current state of Maze Escape, if the monsters don't have ultimate abilities, those 15 seconds of basically complete shard collecting is a huge blow to the monster team. The monsters now more than ever need to keep the pressure up. If they don't have pressure, they're not winning, unless it's a really bad mortal team, or they have great RNG, like Malik Phantoms. Darkest Desires become great. I personally wouldn't even be bothered if they put it down to 10 seconds and nerfed it from 15 to 10 seconds. I personally wouldn't be too bothered with that. But yeah, Dawko, especially depending on the monsters, Dawko can be the difference between a win and a loss in a lot of cases. Also, when the portals are open, just like Heather, he can basically guarantee his teammates to escape, the only thing getting in their way being ultimates. But again, if the monsters don't have good ultimates or very offensive ults, then nah. Dawko is amazing. I really like where he is now. Again, in Maze Escape, he can honestly feel broken at times. He's not. Dawko's not broken, but he can feel broken. But yeah, it's a huge difference. It really is a huge difference. And quite noticeable, at least in my opinion. Alright, mid-tier mortals. In mid-tier, we're going to start off with Sybil Bennett. Holy crap, how she has fallen. Sybil Bennett got by far the hardest hitting nerf of any character in this game. And the first character to get a complete rework. She is the first character in this game to get a complete rework. Nixon did as well, but just to his ult. Sybil got everything reworked. Her stats, her health, her ultimate remained the same, but her stats got completely changed. Nixon just got an ult change. Sybil Bennett introduced the ranged mortal class, which is one of my favourites in the game. I actually main Sybil now. I really enjoy Sybil Bennett. And in the hands of a great player, Sybil is a monster in Maze Escape. Sybil now is actually faster than your balanced mortals. The ranged mortals are faster than balanced mortals, and they're about the same speed as balanced monsters. I think they're just slightly faster, but they're about the speed of the balanced monsters, who are 10 faster than the balanced mortals. Sybil Bennett's ultimate is still great. It can be amazing, especially if you're facing Luckies. Luckies are absolute. Lucky is by far the toughest opponent to face in a Maze Escape. Sybil Bennett can shut down Lucky and Agatha completely, who are still some of the best Maze Escape monsters. And even if it's a monster doesn't need their ultimate to rely on, still shut it down anyway. Like, Reaper Nurse has an awesome ultimate. Sybil can shut her down. And in some cases, Sybil can still 1v1 monsters. I'm probably the best Sybil player you'll see in this game, and if you faced me in a Maze Escape, you'll probably notice that I'm near impossible to kill when playing Sybil. I've learned that Sybil is actually best played defensively while zoning your targets and getting them from a distance. When I play like this, I become one of the hardest, if not the hardest mortal to kill in the game. Gift Card playing supports were already impossible to kill. If Gift Card is playing a support mortal, it's basically impossible unless you've got your stun or your ult and you're able to ambush him. If you're facing, but that's basically me with Sybil. Basically, me playing Sybil is Gift Card playing support. It's just, you just can't kill me. You need a way to kill me. And as a Sybil main, I can strongly say that she still is an amazing character, but I am putting her at the top of mid tier. She's not A tier. Her ultimate's still great though. She has a very, very nice ultimate that's honestly slept on, to be honest. Slept on, sorry. That's terrible grammar. Oh, yeah, I'll just do that for you, by the way. There you go. And yeah. Alright, who else is in mid tier? We're putting Detective Evans. Detective Evans is still pretty good. Detective Evans is a baseline mortal. He's still great. He's honestly still a bit busted in my opinion. 5-second stun for a mortal ultimate should not be a thing. I think Evans needs a rework to his ult. I think his ultimate should blind the target instead of stunning them. Because in the new Maze Escape, 5-second stun is actually pretty mind-boggling. Especially since Evans can get a free 120 damage in anyway. Evans is still a very good mortal. In the right hands, he's a monster just like Sybil. He's also a great sort of side passive support. I consider Nixon and Evans to be passive supports. And he definitely fits that. 5-second stun on the monster is very strong in it. In most Maze Escapes there will be 2 mortals in the area, so if Evans is stunning the monster, those 2 mortals can sometimes just finish off the monster right there. Especially if you've got someone who, you know, like a Pen who can stun lock them after, or a Borisov or a Ryan, a Super Horribro even. Yeah, you need to be careful against Evans. He's still very strong. Freeze Flash is still a very great ultimate. A little busted. I personally would like it to be reworked to a blind instead, because that could just be demoralizing, especially against professional players. If we get blinded, we can't do anything. But yeah, Detective Evans still a great mortal. I'll be throwing him in B tier. I'm going to put Sybil above him just because Sybil is a lot harder to kill, and her ultimate leaves a bit more of an impact in my opinion. Okay, we do have one more mortal in B tier, and that is Doug Hauser. How the mighty have fallen, eh, mortal? Well, actually no, Malik. I'd say Doug has gotten better now. Doug actually has a very great ultimate ability, Escape Plan, which in Soul Collection is completely garbage, but in Maze Escape is very good. Now with 2 monsters on the team, I'd say Doug has become a better mortal because of the introduction of a second monster. Doug Hauser being able to escape and also having the fastest charging ultimate ability in the game. I believe it is 1 minute 15 seconds, do not quote me on that, but it is the fastest charging ult in the game and is pretty strong for what it does. Doug as well has a delayed heavy with very nice range, and now that it's dedicated servers, Doug is basically always hosting. Everyone is always in their host state. Doug is very great in dedicated servers. His heavy attack can really surprise you. His light attack's pretty good as well, it's quite fast, and it has some decent range. And overall, especially in the hands of a strong player, Doug is honestly just a time waster if anything. Get a monster to chase you, jump away, maybe save an item like a shield or a speed boost so the monster doesn't catch you off with a stun or ult. And yeah, you'll be facing a Doug who just wasted time. And trust me, in the new Maze Escape, the monsters cannot be wasting any time. The monsters cannot waste any time in the new Maze Escape. Also, by the way, sorry, there's a second Reaper. That's been bugging me all day. I'll just put that there, sure. But yeah, Doug, pretty good. Alright, so we have 3 mortals left, and if you were curious, yes, they are all C tiers. Actually, Pen will be our D tier mortal. Super Horribro going in the top of C tier, and Nixon going after him in C tier. First of all, let's talk about Pen. Pen I feel like is just she's just nothing. I just don't see it. The best thing that happened to Pen was her shard loss being reduced. The shard loss of the speed class was reduced from 50 to 42, which I actually really like. Not the best. Again, I would be completely fine if they just made speed mortals 33 shards, 35 sorry, and they switched them with the support mortals. I'd be completely down for that. But either way, Pen's a little less annoying in Maze Escape because she loses 8 less shards, which can make a difference in a lot of cases. But you still shouldn't be playing Pen in Maze Escape. I keep saying this, if you're playing Pen in Maze Escape, you're kind of just a liability to your team. You're kind of just sabotaging the game for your team. I don't care if you're the number one, rank 1, top 1% pen player in the game, you're still kind of leaving your team at a huge liability. And that's kind of sad because Pen has so much potential, and she was amazing during the full launch of the game. I remember I played Pen when the full release launched, and she was great. She was great. She's fallen. Her only redeeming factor is obviously, well, her speed, but her ultimate ability, Shooting Star, which is kind of just it can be used very offensively, and you do need to be a bit careful. If a Pen stun locks you and you're on low HP, you're kind of screwed. Unless you maybe have like a shield or a stun that you had holding. Your ultimate's not going to do anything, etc, etc. But yeah, I'm sorry, Pen. I'm still putting you in D tier. I'm sorry. If Pen lost 35 shards, I would be throwing Pen probably in C tier, maybe even B tier. Probably B tier. The Speed Mortals are still just very underwhelming in my opinion, even when we get future Speed Mortals, which I believe we will be getting one with Yandere Simulator. I'm pretty positive Hanako is a Speed Mortal. I just feel like it's not gonna be worth it, in my opinion. Unless Hanako has a great ultimate. Pen's ultimate is actually alright. Shooting Star is not bad in itself, and can be used very well offensively. But yeah, I'm sorry Pen, we're putting you there. Alright, so finishing off the Mortal cast, we have Super Horbro and Nixon. Super Horbro, why is he above Nixon? Simple, he actually can defend himself. Super Horbro has a very nice ultimate, which is, in my opinion, the best finisher in the game, up there. 1,000 Cuts and Freeze Flash, I'd say, are the best finishers in the game. You can get someone from a far distance that's even out of Ryan's reach, which is funny because Ryan pulls you in from Jupiter. And yeah, Super Horbro himself actually has a very nice heavy attack. It's delayed, but it is ranged. But he is still in himself a pretty weak mortal. You kind of need to be a pretty good player to use him right. If you're not though, but the thing is, even with all that going for him, Super Horbro still just kind of gets bodied by most of the monsters. Even Penny can just absolutely body this guy. It's unfortunate. Murder Monkey can body him, Penny can body him, Silent Hill Nurse can body him. It's unfortunate, but it is at ease. But why is Nixon? So what about Nixon? Nixon got an ultimate rework with the new servers, which in my opinion was a nerf, and that was his shard hack being completely reworked. Now instead of collecting 20% of the current shards in the wave, he now collects the shards in a 30-meter radius. No, in a 20-meter radius around him, and he can collect up to 30 shards max with one use of this ultimate. In my opinion, this is actually a nerf. Technically, if you do the math, Nixon got more shards out of his old ult compared to his new one, and in a lot of cases, you probably won't have areas where you're able to get a full 30, because a lot of people, especially in the open maps, can split up to collect shards, and Nixon could maybe get in an area that has a full row of shards, like on Silent Sacrifice, but the other row's already been collected, so Nixon maybe only gets like 20 shards instead of 30. I just don't like the new shard hack. In my opinion, I think Nixon should just be put back to the way he was. 20% was fine, 30%, nah. At this point, I don't think Nixon should be 30%. I actually am glad that he's not 30%, or else I'd say he's actually pretty broken in Maze. If he was 30% though, I'd say he'd actually be a pretty high tier mortal, maybe mid B tier, maybe below Sybil, above Evans, maybe. But yeah, that's my stance on Nixon. So if you made it this far in the video, then hi, you're still here. I don't know why, but yeah, you're still here. Anyway, now that was the easy part, because the mortals are pretty easy to explain. The monsters are a bit different. So, the monsters in Maze Escape. Alright. we're going to do it just like we did the mortals. We're going to go from S tier, and we're going to do some of them together and some of them separate, and we're just going to give them a quick overview. We're also going to look at their class as well. But when it comes to monsters, they're not like mortals. Mortals are usually all distinguished by their class. Monsters usually don't distinguish by class, they actually distinguish by their gameplay. Whereas mortals are usually just dedicated to that class. Monsters are different. But anyway, starting off with S tier. Starting off with the S tier, and we actually have a couple of monsters who are making their way into here. By far the best monster in the game as of now is Lucky the Rabbit. So what I'm going to do, guys, is the monsters are going to be here, 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 here. So the mortals are in the front and then monsters are in the back. So for example, what this shows, so for example, Monkey and Malik were in S tier, Fiend was in A tier, and Ducky was in B tier. This would mean that this means that Ryan is the best mortal in the S tier category, and Lucky is the best monster in the S tier category. Heather's the best in A tier for mortals, Fiend is the best for monsters, blah blah blah. You get what I mean? That's just, yeah. But Lucky the frickin' Rabbit. Wow. Yeah, surprise, surprise. The best monster in the game is Lucky the friggin' Rabbit. Who would have thought? The devs basically gave him a win button. In the nutshell, yeah, they basically gave him a win button. Here's the thing. Lucky the Rabbit was completely fine when he was first released. His barrage attack didn't have that 10% HP, which is a glitch, by the way. It didn't apply fear. It was supposed to apply fear, but it didn't. They forgot to include the fear. And all it did was just a barrage and a free heavy. 96 damage from the barrage and 60 damage from the heavy. With this, Lucky could not one-shot balance mortals with his ult, but now he can. Even when the devs removed the 10% HP damage, which again shouldn't be there, I think that's a glitch because they got the fear from Fiend or something. Again, it's hard to explain, but yeah, that's not supposed to be there. But yeah, that fear was put down. When they added the fear, for those of you that don't know, fear actually increases the damage of the actual person who applied fear. So when fear is applied on the field, whoever applied the fear gets a damage boost, a 10% damage boost, while fear is active on the map. So that means Lucky does 66 damage on his heavy, and 33 damage on his light. 33? Yeah, 33. 33 on his light, 66 on his heavy. So what that means is, old Lucky, the full release Lucky, which was by the way the best Lucky, 96 damage from the barrage and 60 damage from the heavy, so that's 156, I think. Yes, I believe so. 156 damage. That means that he could not one-shot balance mortals. They would have 4 HP, but they would have a chance to get away. Although most Luckies would be able to get the light attack in quickly, so as long as you could do that, you'd be fine. But then, obviously, so that means as soon as you add fear, which grants you a 10% damage boost, or even HP damage, dealing 10% health damage to the enemy, which again, that shouldn't happen, that means Lucky can one-shot balance mortals with his ult. And that's the problem. Like, the old Lucky was the best Lucky. When they released him, he was in his best state. But when they actually applied the fear, which was supposed to be there, they broke him. They broke him. Here's the sad thing about Lucky. When they actually fixed him having 10% HP damage on the ult, even with the fear, he's still going to one-shot balance mortals. Because he'll do 156, 154, 150, I can't remember. But like, 156 I believe. And yeah, but with fear, his heavy attack will deal an additional 6 damage, meaning that he does get the hit. Meaning instead of doing 156, instead of doing 100, why can't I count? I'm sorry, my math is off today. Actually no, yeah, if they remove the HP damage it will fix it. Yeah, it will actually, yeah, my bad. Sorry, my mistake. If they remove the HP damage, the balanced mortals will still survive. 156 plus 6, so that's 164, no, 62, 162. But with the HP damage, they also take 18 damage. So right now, Lucky deals exactly, to Balanced Mortals, he deals exactly 180 damage, which means that he one-shots them. Obviously, if you get the heavy in. If you don't heavy, then obviously you don't get that. But, you know, heavy, you idiot. But yeah, so if even all they need to do is just remove the HP damage, the 10% HP damage, which again should not be there, and Lucky will not one-shot Balanced Mortals anymore. So even just removing that bug would make him better, but he would still be a great monster, don't get me wrong. I'd still say Lucky was S tier even at his full launch. Great monster. He was the least broken of the broken monsters at launch. But yeah, unfortunately, Lucky is he's just brain dead. But since he's Lucky the frickin' rabbit, basically he's the most mained character in the game, which is sad because he's also one of the most broken characters in the game. So hopefully eventually Glowstick will address that HP bug. As soon as that is fixed, Lucky will be better, but again, the fear is not necessary. I would remove the fear, honestly. But yeah. Right after Lucky, we have the Reaper Nurse. The Chapter 4 monsters definitely made a difference in the game. Reaper Nurse actually got a buff after release, which is ridiculous, because during her release, she wasn't OP, but she was very close to being OP. Vaccination Time is one of the best ultimates in the game. 20-second invisibility, and you get a 15% damage and speed boost. That is amazing. Already by itself, that is so much you're getting out of one single ultimate. But then, for some reason, Vince decided to add fear onto the ultimate. So the Reaper Nurse also inflicts fear. When going invisible, she inflicts fear on all enemies. And I believe she inflicts fear for, I think it's 10 seconds. I think fear is just 10 seconds base because of Silent Hill Nurse. It's either 10 or 15 seconds. But yeah, fear reduces your attack damage by 70% and reduces your attack speed by 50%. And remember, whoever applied the fear gets a 10% boost to their own damage for the duration of the fear. Meaning that the Reaper Nurse deals more damage with her heavy attack, which is spammable and one of the best heavy attacks in the game. So yeah, you can see where I'm going with this. She's a speed as well, and for a speed monster, she is incredibly offensive. You basically can't get away from her. Vaccination Time makes her faster than Pen, even with Shooting Star. She's just insane. Vaccination Time is crazy, and she herself is a little hard to hit. If you're good at it's very hard to 1v1. Even Power Mortals can have problems 1v1ing Reaper Nurses just because of their heavy attack, and also Reaper Nurse is prone to doubly heavying a lot. I believe Reaper Nurse does 43 damage with her heavy right now, and she can sometimes just double that down in a split second, which is non-dodgeable, by the way. So you're going to get hit twice. You're not dodging that second hit because the heavy attack is so fast. But yeah, Reaper Nurse, I think she should just go back to release state, remove the fear from the Reaper Nurse, and she'd still be an S tier, but she would be a little less, BS. Because basically, you can't even fight a Reaper Nurse in Vaccination Time anyway, but now you have fear as well, so you literally cannot fight a Reaper Nurse. So yeah, that's annoying. It really is annoying. But yeah. Anyway, we have one more monster which I want to put in S tier. Oh yeah, by the way, since we've got that double nurse head, I'm just going to throw that in there. Can I just, get rid of this? This is annoying me so much. Alright, so we have one more monster which I want to put in S tier. And this might actually surprise some people, but I'm putting Agatha in S tier. Yes, I'm actually going to keep Agatha in S tier. I've been playing a lot of Agatha in Maze Escape lately, and in my personal opinion, she's still just as good as she was. She's more fair now. The nerf she got was that her ult deals 80 damage now instead of 100, and trust me, that 20 damage is a huge difference. I personally think Agatha's a lot better now. I wouldn't really say she's broken anymore. She's strong, but she isn't broken. She used to be broken, not anymore. But I still, in my personal opinion, Agatha is still an S tier Maze Escape monster. But she is below Reaper Nurse and Lucky. Reaper Nurse and Lucky usually get more done. Can usually get a lot more done. So Agatha will be at the bottom of S tier. But do not sleep on Agatha. She is still amazing. Hello Friend is amazing. When you start to train your mind with Agatha, you'll realise, like, balance mortals, you need to heavy them 3 times, then you can alt. Support mortals, heavy them 4 times, and then you can alt, etc, etc. In Shard Mayhem, she can be played amazing as well. Obviously, this isn't a Shard Mayhem tier list, but she's great in Shard as well. Not much else to say about Agatha, except for that, yeah, I'm keeping her in S tier. Some people would probably argue she's high A tier. That's very reasonable to put her there, but I personally think she's low S tier now. She's still S tier in my opinion, but just the bottom of S tier. Reaper Nurse and Lucky are just much better. Reaper Nurse overall is just the best speed monster we have as of now. Okay, who's going in A tier? Reaper Nurse 2. I'm joking. I'm sorry, that's annoying me so much. Ketchup, why? Alright, A tier. To start off A tier, I'm putting Hangry at the top of A tier. Hangry and Lucky are good. Hangry the Pig is a very underrated character in my opinion. Hangry is actually a very good power monster. His ultimate Rib Crusher is very deadly and can get you insane plays and kills. The only thing that goes off of Hangry is obviously, one, he is a power monster, meaning he is the second slowest character in the game after power mortals. But also his heavy attack is a little janky. His heavy attack takes a little time getting used to. It's very weird. His light is very good, but his heavy attack is very bleh. But as soon as you learn it, I've been playing a lot of Hangry, and I think I've kind of nailed the heavy attack now. And trust me, I am a monster with Hangry. When you learn Hangry, holy crap, he is an absolute monster. Rib Crusher is an amazing ultimate ability, one of the best monster ults in the game. Dare I say it's even the best power monster ultimate. Dare I say Hangry has the best ult of the 4 powers, dare I say. Even in Shard Mayhem, 120 damage with an AoE blast is great, but at the same time, his ultimate is not unfair because it has a super easy counter, which is obstacles. Hangry's Rib Crusher does not go through solid objects. If you go behind a solid environment tool like a barrel or a box, or if you go behind a wall, Hangry's AoE cannot reach you. So it's easy to counter but still very powerful. Hangry the Pig, absolutely love this character. Definitely deserves A tier. Very awesome character. And in Maze Escape, he's just a monster. In Maze Escape, he's amazing. And in Crazy Carnival Maze Escape, which yes, I did get to do some Hangry in Crazy Carnival. Oh my god, he is ridiculous. He's probably the best monster on Crazy Carnival, honestly. But yeah, there you go. Alright, who else will be going in A tier? This might be a little controversial, but I'm actually going to throw the Fiend in A tier. Fiend used to be a character which was the monster you really needed to put time into, but with dedicated servers, Fiend is now always hosting, meaning his heavy attack is one of the best. Plus, he has a passive ability of being able to pull his targets towards him with his heavy. Fiend in Maze Escape is amazing. He's a speed monster as well, so he has the best map maneuverability. The speed monsters have the best map maneuverability, obviously, because they are the fastest characters in the game at base. And yeah, that's great. His heavy attack is great, and his ultimate ability, Mine Pool, can be used very smartly. Mine Pool on a banana, Mine Pool on a trap, Mine Pool into a boss. Mine Pool is great. And already in Crazy Carnival, I didn't get to test it in time, but Mine Pooling into the Clown Spider, which is an insta-kill, by the way. Yeah. Fiend is still great. He's kind of lost his skill now. He used to take skill to use. I personally don't think he's a character that needs skill anymore. I think anyone can pick him up now. The only thing going for him is that he has 200 HP, so, mortals can actually fight him. But yeah. That's it for Fiend. We're not done with the A tier yet. I want to put Robbie the Rabbit in A tier as well. I absolutely love Robbie the Rabbit. Underrated character. IMO. That's annoying me so much. Underrated. His clones are great. Robbie the Rabbit is also able to counter power mortals, which makes him even stronger. Robbie completely counters powers. Just be careful with Vinces, obviously. A smart Vince will know that Robbie and Clown clones will damage the Robbie and the Clown who spawned them if they hit a Vince with Fuel C. So just remember that. Be careful around Vinces. But Ryans and Borisovs, if they want to play offensive, they're going to take a lot of damage trying to kill you. Borisov slows you down. Pop your clones. Light attack the Borisov. I always recommend using the light attack to get the clones off because Robbie has one of the best light attacks of the monster roster. And if the Borisov wants to stay and fight you, he can, but it's not going to be pretty. Especially if you, attacking yourself. Robbie has amazing hitboxes. He's a great Shard Mayhem character. He's really good in Maze Escape. His clones are awesome. His clones allow Robbie to send his clones on a mortal, and then Robbie can then go off and chase another mortal, which is awesome. But yeah, absolutely love that about Robbie. And finally, we have the Brute, who will finish off the A tier monsters. Brute did get a nerf, Magma Charge. Basically, burn damage is no longer 25, it's 20. So that includes the boss Brutes, who got nerfed as well. So they do 80 damage in total now instead of 100, which is kind of like Agatha, so that's really nice. The Brute's Magma Charge, usually Brute got 175. No, it didn't, you idiot. He got 150 off. Now he doesn't. Now Brute gets 135 damage off of 1. So that means he can actually not one-shot Pen anymore. But Pen are still going to die because unless they have Shooting Star or a Banana or have taken 5 damage prior, they're screwed. In Maze Escape, he's amazing. He's still a great... Brute is still a very underrated monster. Very strong, very strong. He still has that annoying bug where sometimes he just gives his kill to random people, which is kind of why I got put off, because as a person who likes to go for kills in games, that really did put me off. Hopefully that will get addressed eventually. I believe Simon is aware of it, so hopefully he will look into it. But yeah, Brute is still amazing. Obviously we're going to trudge forward because I don't want this video being too long, so we are going to try and finish up the monsters now. But yeah, Brute, do not underestimate Brutes. They are powerful when in the right hands. Okay, so who are the mid-tier? So to start off the mid-tier, we have Malik and Watcher. They will be starting off our mid-tier. They're both basically the same, except Watcher has a better heavy attack than Malik, but in return, Malik has a better ultimate than Watcher. But they are very similar. They were the first 2 powers in the game, so that's understandable. They're both pretty good in Maze Escape. Watcher can work. Watcher can work. Like mid B tier is probably quite surprising to some people. Honestly, I really... Watcher can do very well in Maze Escape. Just Malik is obviously better because his ultimate is just better. There's not a lot to say about these guys. Watcher has a great heavy attack. Malik has a great heavy as well, but Watcher has a lot more range on his heavy. I feel like Watcher has just a nicer light attack. Like when you stun someone, you should do your light heavy light or your heavy light heavy, but don't do it that way. Do light heavy light. Watcher's light heavy light just feels nicer than Malik, honestly. They're both great. Malik's better than Watcher. Obviously, they're both amazing Shard Mayhem characters, but obviously, again, it's not Shard Mayhem. But yeah, they're still great. So, as I said before, Golden Demise is just a worse Eye of Suffering. Eye of Suffering is just better, but at the same time, Watcher does get the range. So Eye of Suffering has the damage, but it has a shorter duration and a shorter range. Watcher has a lot less damage, but he has a longer range and a longer duration. So it's up to you. I personally prefer Watcher because in Maze Escape, Malik. Obviously, in Maze Escape, I prefer Malik, but in Shard Mayhem, I prefer Watcher. Maze Escape Malik is still great, though. Do not sleep on him at all. To finish off B tier, we have Dread Ducky. Dread Ducky has fallen down the ranks a bit. He did get nerfed as well. It wasn't really that significant. It was mainly a Shard Mayhem nerf. Ducky still one-shots every mortal, so don't worry about that. His nerf was mainly towards Shard Mayhem, which is good, because Ducky was fine in Maze Escape. It was Shard Mayhem where he was a problem. But yeah, thankfully they addressed it, although it wasn't good. Like, he still one-shots support monsters, which is annoying. He doesn't one-shot power monsters or range monsters, that's it. But yeah, in Maze Escape, he's still the exact same. His light attack is one of the best. He has a very quick heavy attack. Not great range, but he has hosting now, so his heavy is a lot better. He has one of the best light-heavy combos in the game. It's basically immediate. His ultimate is amazing at getting out pens or your supports. His ultimate is amazing at getting out support mortals early, which is so important. You really want to get support mortals out as quick as you can, if you have the chance. When he gets a stun, it's basically a guaranteed kill, because again, his attacks are so quick that he basically gets the kill, no matter what. But yeah, Ducky Surprise, in Shard Mayhem it's still broken, but it's better obviously, because he doesn't one-shot the powers anymore. But in Maze Escape, it's not changed at all. It's the same thing. It can still if there's an annoying Ryan or something, don't worry, you can still one-shot the Ryan. But yeah, Ryan's still a better Ducky though. Shocking, I know. But yeah. Alright, we are close to done. We have our final 4 monsters. We have our C tiers and our D tiers. In C tier, we will have the Clown Gremlin. He is a C tier monster. His ultimate did get better with dedicated servers because his clones have better range. Because his hosting Clown Gremlins, their Clown Patrols were always better because they're hosting. Like, the Clown was actually hosting. So that meant his heavy and light was just better overall. Which is great. Clown Patrol's better now. It's mainly a Shard Mayhem thing. I don't really care about it, and I really don't care about it. And Maze Escape, it's really just there as a reconnaissance tool. Clown Patrol is there in Maze Escape to tell you where they are. That's basically it. In Maze Escape, Clown Patrol is saying, there's a mortal over there. And that's kind of it. Obviously, powers struggle against it. Vince, obviously, again, be careful with Vince's. Same as Robbie. But that's kind of it. However, Clown does make up for that in his attacks. His light attack is his light attack is whatever. It's very, very average. But he has a very good heavy attack. It's quick and it is actually kind of ranged, which is really nice. And now that he's always hosting, his heavy attack is very hard to go up against, even as a monster as well. But in Maze Escape, Clown is one of the best monsters at taking out a power mortal who is non-power. Obviously, the power monsters can take out power mortals, but any class down from that, they will struggle against your power mortals. Clown and Robbie don't have a much easier time. Clown is one of the best, maybe even after Robbie, probably the best monster at taking out the power mortals. Obviously, him not being a power himself. And Clown Patrol is mainly just there as reconnaissance. I still think it's a pretty underwhelming ultimate. I still think it's one of the worst monster ults. It just doesn't do enough for me, in my opinion. I still play Clown. I do enjoy him. Clown is still a very fun character to play. In Maze Escape, he's still very good, but the Clown Patrol is really just there to tell you where to go next, which is actually very strong, though. Because the monsters are not going to be getting their aura reading back, so that is actually very nice. Alright, and it's sad to do this, but we have 3 monsters going in D tier. 3 monsters. Murder Monkey, Silent Hill Nurse, and Penny the Chicken will be finishing off the list. Why is Murder Monkey the best of the worst? Simple, Slicer Dicer. Murder Monkey has the best ult of the 3, which is Slicer Dicer. And Slicer Dicer overall is just amazing. Use Slicer Dicer, get out of there. Great offensive tool. Still one of the most underrated ultimates in the game. But he himself is not good. He has one of the biggest hitboxes, meaning he is a very easy target. He gets absolutely stomped by power mortals. He's like literally one of the worst fighters in the game. His light attack is fine, but his heavy attack is just absolute garbage. It's delayed. It's very thin. Like the width of the attack is very short, where most people have quite a nice width on their heavy attack. Monkey doesn't. His heavy is delayed and it's very straightforward. It's kind of like, it's like a big line. It doesn't really have that much range on it either. It's not really very nicely ranged. I wouldn't say the range is very good. But I'd say he's better than the Silent Hill Nurse, who still is just, Fear Cuts Deep it's alright. It's mainly a defensive tool. It's a defensive ult. And Power of Love on Penny it's actually alright. Penny is by far the worst monster in the game. The ranged monsters did not have a great introduction. Basically, Penny is only viable right now if you use the double stacked heavy exploit, where you have like you make your attack speed faster. It's an exploit you can do in game where you spam your light attack a couple of times and you start spamming your heavy attack, and then Penny throws twice as fast. And it's an exploit, but it makes her kind of viable. It actually makes her a threat. That is a red flag, because a monster should not need exploits to be a threat. That just immediately shows you, and that alone makes Penny the worst of the D tiers. Power of Love itself, though, is actually not too bad. The damage is nice, the eggs get bigger, and the eggs get a little bigger, which is nice as well, and Penny actually does become the fastest thing in the game. Penny in Power of Love is literally the fastest thing in the game. Stack it with Speed Boost and you can literally get across Silent Sacrifice in like 5 seconds. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, still Penny very underwhelming. And there we go, that is the beginning of 2022 Monsters Immortals Maze Escape tier list, with obviously post-dedicated servers and pre-Crazy Carnival. However, Crazy Carnival was taken into account because it did technically happen, so I did mention it with Hangry. I should mention with Watcher as well. Watcher's also pretty good on Crazy Carnival. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's a lot. If you agree or disagree with anything, please let me know in the comments. I enjoy tier lists, so I will be doing more of these, obviously. Shout out to Ketchup for actually having this tier list already made. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed and have a joy good day. Hopefully Crazy Carnival's out soon. We'll be streaming it when it is.